Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the saddest facts about 10 different countries around the world. From historical tragedies to ongoing struggles, we'll be exploring the darker side of these nations. Stay tuned, because some of these might surprise you and encourage us all to think a little deeper about the world around us. Haiti, a Caribbean nation with a rich culture and history, has been plagued by poverty and natural disasters. In 2010, a devastating earthquake struck, killing hundreds of thousands and displacing millions. Haiti continues to grapple with the aftermath, highlighting the impact of natural disasters on vulnerable populations. North Korea, one of the most isolated countries in the world, has long been shrouded in mystery and secrecy. Behind the facade of military parades and propaganda lies a stark reality for many North Koreans. The country faces widespread poverty, food shortages, and severe restrictions on basic freedoms. The human rights situation in North Korea serves as a stark reminder of the importance of freedom and the plight of those living under oppressive rule. Yemen, located on the Arabian Peninsula, has been ravaged by a brutal civil war since 2014. The conflict has plunged the country into a humanitarian crisis, with millions facing famine, displacement, and disease. The war in Yemen is a complex conflict with regional and international actors. It serves as a stark reminder of the devastating human cost of war and the urgent need for peace and stability. Chapter 4. Central African Republic, a cycle of violence. The Central African Republic, a landlocked nation in Central Africa, has been trapped in a cycle of violence for decades. Armed groups control vast areas, terrorizing civilians and fueling a humanitarian crisis. The conflict has caused widespread displacement and human rights abuses. The situation highlights the urgent need for peace, security, and humanitarian aid. Chapter 5. South Sudan, a nation grappling with independence. South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, gained independence in 2011 but has since faced conflict and poverty. A brutal civil war erupted in 2013, driven by ethnic tensions and power struggles. Millions have been displaced and the country faces a dire humanitarian crisis. The ongoing conflict has devastated South Sudan's people, economy, and future. Chapter 6. Syria, a decade of loss. Syria, once vibrant with rich cultural heritage, has been devastated by a decade-long civil war. The conflict began in 2011 with peaceful protests but quickly escalated into a brutal war, claiming hundreds of thousands of lives and displacing millions. The Syrian conflict is one of the worst humanitarian crises, leaving a generation scarred by violence and displacement. Venezuela, once one of South America's wealthiest nations, has plunged into economic and political crisis. Hyperinflation and food shortages have led to a mass exodus of Venezuelans. The crisis has devastated lives, forcing many to flee in search of basic necessities. Venezuela's situation is a stark reminder of the fragility of political and economic systems. Afghanistan. A future. Uncertain. Afghanistan has endured decades of conflict and instability, leaving its people with a legacy of trauma and uncertainty. Following the withdrawal of U.S. troops and the Taliban's takeover in 2021, the country faces an uncertain future. The humanitarian situation in Afghanistan remains dire, with millions facing hunger, poverty, and displacement. The international community must continue to provide support to the Afghan people as they navigate this challenging period. Chapter 9. Somalia, a nation plagued by famine. Somalia, located in the Horn of Africa, has been plagued by conflict, drought, and famine for decades. The country has one of the highest rates of malnutrition in the world, and millions of people require humanitarian assistance. The ongoing crisis in Somalia highlights the devastating impact of climate change, conflict, and poverty on vulnerable populations. Chapter 10. Democratic Republic of Congo, rich in resources, poor in opportunity. The Democratic Republic of Congo, rich in resources, suffers from extreme poverty and conflict. Despite its mineral wealth, the country faces corruption, exploitation, and violence. Armed groups terrorize civilians and vie for control of resources. The DRC needs peace, good governance, and equitable resource distribution. A world of compassion. Thanks for watching. Behind every statistic, every headline, there are real human stories. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Support organizations making a difference. We can contribute to a more just and compassionate world.